a significant period of time, which, as you might imagine, put quite a strain on family life. The kids were a lot younger then. I was away from the family for some time, through the week, most weeks.
Yeah.
Not unusual, that I know, but difficult nonetheless. And you know, not having much in the way of routine or social activities. I quite often spent a lot of time in the pub through the week, and then I'd go home. I'd be knackered for the weekend. I'd be really crappy with the family, really short with the kids. Go back to work again, get on it again the following week, and that process kind of continued for I don't know, probably about 3 years. It's a long time.
That's a long time.
And we then got the opportunity to move as a family, which was a great relief, down to Berkshire. And the 3 months after we moved, I got made redundant.
Wow.
So they asked me to move and then made me redundant.
Can't believe that.
Yeah. So that wasn't the best place.
But that must have thrown in a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, distraction, stress.
Absolutely. So from, you know, I know without sounding flippant, you know, a lot of people have been made redundant over the years, and, you know, you've got to make a fist of it and, you know, pick yourself up and find a way forward. And I was determined to do that, but because we had actually moved south before we'd sold our house up north.
Yeah.
So it was even worse.
Wow.
Because I had to get a job in order to get a mortgage to live in the house that we wanted to live in, which was really, really stressful, to say the least.
So during that time there, would you say there was any coping mechanisms, unhealthy ones, that were kind of being in play right now?
Yeah. So you know, yeah. So I was drinking excessively. I was smoking a lot in those days. Yep. As well. And I suppose it's more about the things I wasn't doing. I had no interest in exercise or in sports or anything like that. I was a real, you know, lounge hermit. You know, the lounge is my part of the, you know, the kids and the wife wouldn't come in because, you know, I was in a, you know, not in a great place and didn't want to, you know, they were treading on eggshells and what have you.
Yeah.
So I did get a job. We did get the house sorted out, and I ended up in a job which I hated. Absolutely hated it, but I had to take it.
Just because you had to take it, yeah.
I had to take it, yeah, to, you know, to keep our heads above water. Right. And that was at a time when, you know, we had a lot of commitments and there weren't any other job alternatives out there. It took me 4 years to get out of that job.
Yeah.
And that sort of cycle of midweek hermit lifestyle, I'd started to find reasons to be away from home.
So was there would you say, like, during the time, because obviously you were unhappy, like, we spend most of our time at work, right? So because you're spending most of the time there, is that just causing you, like, to carry around with, like, this great big boulder with you? It's kind of like life's underneath a black cloud.
Yeah.
That type of lifestyle, no routine, no structure.
Yeah. And absolutely no routine, no structure, racked with self-doubt, massive imposter syndrome as well. I felt, you know, constantly felt as though I was going to be found out in the job that I was doing, even though I'd been successful in gaining that job, and you know, the KPIs, the objectives that we were asked to achieve, we were fulfilling those. So there was a lot to be positive about. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't believe that they believed in me, and obviously at home, the home life was difficult as a result of that. Anyway, in getting out of that job was the best thing that I did for myself, for my health, and for my family, because I then, you know, I've worked in a couple of organizations since, where I finally realized that, you know, when we talk about the 4 pillars, health, relationships, personal development, and work is most definitely the least of my 4 pillars in terms of priority.
Nice. And that's a big shift, right?
Absolutely. Everything else was geared the other way around. It was the inverse pyramid, you know, with me holding it up.
So
And
I just want to bring you back there. Why do you think it took you 4 years to get out of that job you hated?
I think partially it was circumstance, because there weren't other similar opportunities, or I didn't perceive that there were out in the marketplace. Our industry was quite tight in those days. I felt obliged to stay at that job because of the financial benefits associated with it. So in other words, I wasn't prepared to, trade my happiness at that stage for a financial reduction, because frankly we couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
So I felt obliged to stick at it until we got to a point where I was able to get out. But I still, even then, I was beginning to realise work wasn't everything, and I was obviously getting a bit older, and I was able to start letting go a bit. Because we'd moved house, we got a new circle of friends, who, I've got a great social group of mates and other families that we hang out with, or have been hanging out with until recently, and that's helped enormously. It really has.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm committed to, sports groups. I help run the cricket team in the village over the summer, and we do stuff in the winter as well. So all of a sudden you've got a whole group of new people in your life.
Yeah.
And that changes your perspective on things. Definitely.
Do you find that, like, surrounding yourself with a much more positive environment or habitat kind of creates a better sense of purpose for yourself in terms of your behavior and implementation and thought process?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel quite evangelistic about this in some respects, because having been through what I've been through with, challenges with work and my family, and with the son and his disability, and getting the care that he needs, and such like, I see the challenges that my mates who've got younger kids are going through now, and I feel I don't impose myself as a mentor, but I certainly feel qualified to provide advice.
You got the experience.
Yeah, and I say I don't impose myself on anyone, but they know the challenges that we've had as a family, and I'm very happy to support people.
Well, I think that's a positive side of yourself as well, in terms of that. Actually, when we look at the chapter that you've spoken about, and the firefights and the battles and the walls and the coping mechanisms, it's kind of like, wow, sort of tranquil. You're in this place now where, you've worked very hard, which we'll come on to on some of the points you've changed, to a point where you're now, when we talk, you're in control. Like, I get the impression you're fully in control of everything you're doing, your mindset, your approach to life, your structure, your routine. I wish that maybe I could have interviewed you during that time. I wonder what the interview would have looked like, as you're with a can of Stella in your hand and a fag.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we kind of fell into that pit. So can you remember a specific turning point where there was that one thing? Or maybe, if for me, it was that one night. Most people know my story now. It was that one night in my room, and I just was like, what am I doing? And it was bang from there. I just escalated my life from there. For you, was it a particular moment, or was it a chapter?
Yeah, I don't think it was a particular moment. I think it was a culmination of the circumstances that we were in, and the fact that I realised that there was a better life to live than the one I was living, and that because I'm getting on a bit now as well. Actually, you can't physically sustain that kind of lifestyle the older you get.
Yeah.
It's when you're in your 20s and your 30s, and even in your early 40s, I suppose, you can cuff it a bit, and you can go out on the lash, and you can carry on doing that. But after a period of time, you just can't do it, because you can't function the next day.
Yeah.
And when other people start telling you about how you behaved, and you have no recollection of that, in the work scenario particularly, you think that's pretty worrying, to say the least.
It's an eye-opener for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And there were a few occasions where that happened, and as I say, I don't remember a specific point, but I got a few bollockings at home as well, and from the missus to say, you need to sort yourself out, and it was tough love and sorry,
is accountability.
Yeah, and it was definitely something that was a culmination for me over a period of time to say I've got to straighten this out, and so I tried to do it myself. I think I've read a lot of stuff, listened to a lot of stuff over the years, but it's only really in the last 6 or 7 months, I would say 7 or 8 months, that I've really got on it, and really got that routine and that structure into my life that makes so much difference.
Well, I think it's very interesting you say that. So, I've been doing the dad's coach. I've been working with men for the last 2.5 years. And, since we started that progress, it's just something that's grown, and the delivery and the platforms that we've done have grown. And we have, and there is, we run a 5-day Throw It Up challenge, which is a free challenge. And we have guys who come back in there 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
And what they do is they peak for a week and they go straight back to the way they're living. They come back in, I just need that kick. I just need that. And then they go back to the way they're living. And what will happen is that over a magnitude of time, people will listen and listen and listen and listen and listen. And then something will happen and they suddenly go, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So during those 4 years of you being unhappy in that job, you might not have been ready to go through the process of change. You mentally, emotionally, maturity, all of those things come into play.
Yeah.
You're too busy firefighting. But from perspective of your journey, what I see is happening is that as you've got older, one thing has changed, and it is, for me, the leverage for change for everybody, and that's the raising of your self-awareness.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the conscious mind becomes very aware of what's happening around you, and then suddenly you're like, wow, this is real. Do you know what I mean? Or it's a parent dying, or a parent getting ill, or we suddenly are surrounded by a virus that can take our life just like that,
Yeah.
and we suddenly think, well, we need to focus about long-term health. I don't mean doing an 8-week fitness gym program to get ready for Johnny's wedding next week, and then after Johnny's wedding, you're done, or getting ready for your holiday pool body, and then once the holiday's done, you're going back to getting on it. That's not what it's about. And I think this is not just about the physical side. This is about your mental conditioning and your emotional conditioning to how you react, how you implement, and how you carry yourself in performance in life, right? And I think that's where you have slowly raised that self-awareness.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, JB. And getting, I'll bang on about it, and for as long as people want to listen, is that yes, you've got to put food on the table. Yes, you've got to pay your bills, but you've got to be fit enough mentally and physically to do that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can't carry on like I was carrying on, and expect to be able to do that without losing something, whether it's your job, your family, your health, or anything else for that matter.
A really good.
It's just too important. And as I say, that's why I'm when I'm planning my weeks, I do put in things related to my health and my relationships in the first instance. And yes, of course, I am as committed to work as I've always been, but actually, I've got a bit more flexibility now to be able to say, actually, can we move that WebEx to another time, because I might already have something committed, and can we do that meeting another time, or a bit earlier in the morning, or a bit later in the day, or whatever. And I suppose I'm a little bit fortunate because I do a bit of work from home, so the current circumstances anyway are I've slipped into them reasonably well.
Yeah.
But that, having that discipline around what's important to you, I think is really important. And once you start getting that and working on it, it brings a different perspective to things. I wouldn't say I'm perfect. I do slip up.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, do slip up.
Does.
But I don't worry about it. I don't, if I miss a workout, or I make the phone call to a relative or a friend that I was going to do, I just reschedule it. You know,
You
I don't
forgive
beat,
yourself.
yeah, I don't beat myself up for it.
Yeah.
I don't beat
Bounce back
myself up.
ability. Bounce back ability.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. So listen, this is a kind of tricky question. In some respects, it's nothing major, but what did you believe back in your dark chapter compared to now in terms of your belief system on your life? Maybe one example, maybe just one example of something that you believed back then that you changed the way you are to the present day.
Okay, so in terms of general fitness and well-being, definitely all those years ago, I reckon I could do anything I liked to my body in terms of abuse, you know, alcohol or food or tobacco, whatever else. And as long as I trained readily, I could do what the hell I liked.
Okay.
And then I realized that, you know, actually, you've got to get the inputs right in terms of what goes into your body to get the benefit of the exercise and the well-being as well.
Did you wait? So for me, that was when I was 38. I woke up one morning. I was exactly the same. Looked at my body and went, "There's a kangaroo pouch there. What the hell is that?" Honestly, I looked at my body. I was disgusted, and I hit the gym so hard for 12 weeks, and that was a big eye opener because I got complacent, and complacency is a big thing. Because you're quite right. You know, when I was served in the military, I was a physical trainer, so we could do anything. You could literally do anything. You could eat, you know, we were eating 6,000-7,000 calories a day. You get away with it. Do you know what I mean? And you go on the drink all of the time, partying and all of that. And then suddenly you come home and you're still doing it and you're just not getting away with it. Just not getting away with it. No. That's a good one. Okay. So what has changed? Give me 4 things, 4 points that have changed from that life, that chapter that in your book to the chapter in your book today.
4 things. Well, I've got a grip on my health and well-being now.
Walk me through your routine very quickly of your week, like in terms of what that looks like for people.
Yeah. So morning routine is I do meditation first up as soon as I wake up. Then I do the JB catch up, whether that's the show or Insta. And then either alternate mornings I either take my dogs out or I run. So today was a run day. So it's a 5K. Come back, get a shower, check my plan for the day, have a bit of brekkie, and then crack on. So that's morning routine, and I do that, you know, pretty much habitually every morning between 6:30 and 8, I would say. I block out 1 till 2 for lunch, and try and get a meditation in after lunch before I start work in the afternoon. I find that really helpful just for settling things down again. I finish no later than 5:30 unless it's absolutely necessary. And then after that it's family time and dinner till say 8 o'clock. And then I'll do my review of the day, preparation for the next day, getting my kit together, thinking about what I'm going to eat, a bit of gratitude. And then after that, I usually do my PD, which is usually an audio book or just a chapter. That, funnily enough, is, I suppose, in a way, it's the easiest of the 4 pillars to achieve. I find it the hardest to implement. I am still struggling with that. You would have thought just putting some earphones in and listening to your phone would be easy. But it just goes to show how many distractions there are in life.
I know. So something that I've tried to implement a great tactic, which is what I'm going to talk to you guys about on our online seminar on Saturday, is using YouTube. And what I use in YouTube is a particular subject. And what I've started doing is setting. Do you remember you're at class or college or uni? You'd have a specific class. And that would last like 20 minutes or 40 minutes. So we started putting 30 minutes aside a day just to do like a classroom thing, write down all of the things that I've learned, all the gold nuggets, and use that to move forwards.
Yeah.
So in terms of that for you, that's be something I'll be harping on with you to push forwards.
Yeah. So the other couple of things, I put my family first ahead of my work now,
Good.
religiously. I don't say sorry, I can't do that because I've got work. It's the other way around now. I deliberately try to engage with people who I know less well when I'm out and about. Obviously, can't do much of that at the moment, but just it's very easy to stick in your little social group, isn't it? And your group of mates and such like. And where we live, actually, most people are pretty decent and quite open. And so just pushing yourself out of that comfort zone in terms of interpersonal skills is something that I quite like to do. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I still find it hard.
Yeah, me too.
I get benefit out of it, I guess the final thing is I just feel as though I've got a life. I've got my life back now. I've got okay, I am the age I am, but I've got something to live for other than just grinding out stuff at work.
Remind me of your age.
54.
So, mate, you've still got another 40 years. 40 years, ezy. If you keep going the way you're going, do you know what I mean? And I think that's how you've got to look at it. That's how I look at my life. I used to look at my life when I turned 40. I was like, oh my God, doom and gloom. And I went, you've got another 50 years yet, boy. Let's go. Wallowing in your own self-pity, you dickhead.
And I totally get that. I know you've mentioned before about guys getting to their 30s, 40s, and wondering what the hell it's all about. And I guess to summarise, that is exactly where I was. It was just about doing the job to which way around is it? Living to work as opposed to working to live.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to make your business a part of your lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Not base your life around your business.
Yeah.
And how I so truly believe the first 40 years of your life, you're just your warm up. It's where you get your mistakes out. It's where you make errors. It's where you meet the wrong people. It's where you do all the things you shouldn't be doing. And then when you got, and everyone used to say to me, life starts at 40. And I was like, are you fucking joking? I'm living a dream at 29. And then suddenly getting to 40 and going, oh my God, my life's a mess. Like my 30s were just a car crash of like carnage, of just bad decisions, selfishness, being a prick, being a knobhead. But I'm only it's half time. It's half time in life. And that's how I look at it. And if things are not going your way at half time, you still got a whole second half to play to come out on top.
Yeah. No, I'm doing stuff now, exercise wise, that I couldn't even contemplate doing in 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly. And how many people say that in a group, right? Like I'm the fittest I've ever been. But it's here. It's up in here in the state of mind. That's where we're feeling it. That's where the benefits of what we do we get. Right, quick fire round questions. You can't think about it. You're just going to answer it. They're not tricky dicky. They're not tricky dicky. Honestly, they're nothing. Okay. They're nothing stupid. Whatever first comes into your mind, you just got to say it. What makes you happy? Quicker.
Oh shit! The boy. The boy.
What makes you sad?
United losing.
What makes you angry?
Other people sometimes.
Fight or flight?
Flight.
Biggest ambition?
Best version of myself.
Give me another one.
Even better best version of myself. No.
Out.
Play cricket for England still.
Okay. What percentage are you performing at in life right now?
I would say about 75%.
And a final message for anyone watching this.
There is life when you get to my age, guys. It might not feel like it at the moment, but there is life, and my life is so much better now than it was 10, 15 years ago. And, in part, thanks to the man in front of you as well, because he's helped me enormously in the last few months.
Now, you do all the hard work. I just show you up. I'm just the teacher. You do all the graft. So, mate, I'm really pleased for you. And I really hope that this inspires somebody to change the way that they're living their life. You are an excellent example of someone that's really grabbed life by the balls and really taken life back. Do you know what I mean? And like owning your life. And I hope that you'll watch back this and listen on the podcast back to yourself and go, you'll have that sense of achievement and proud. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're a 14-year-old boy who's proud at winning at FIFA, like my boy, who keeps sending me pictures of winning, or if you're a 54-year-old man who's proud of like turning his life around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being proud of yourself and loving yourself is something that you should be always proud of. Mikey B, thank you very much. We're going to stay on and talk after this, but I'm just going to end this now for everyone. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'll catch you again. We have another one tomorrow. I'll catch you then. Right. You right? Okay. Your video has ended. Your play video should be online. Nice. Nice.
Good.
Nice.
Happy with that?
Mate, yeah, that was amazing. Happy with that yourself?